But just tell us overall, like, what is it that you do to support parents?
Yes, and would it be okay for us to give an opportunity for Crystal to introduce herself as well?
Most definitely.
Yeah, she's like the background bone on her of our group, so I want to make sure that she gets a chance
Yeah,
to
and so
introduce
what I
herself.
was gonna actually, thank you for bringing it up, Joshua. I didn't know which one of you guys were gonna take the question, and so if Crystal took it, I was gonna have her introduce herself.
Okay, I just had to make sure I'm looking out for my girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Everybody gets introduced here at Cincinnati Preschool Promise.
Perfect.
So either one of you can take the question.
Yeah, so I guess I can go ahead and take the question, and if I miss anything, Crystal will be sure to back me up. So I think for Queens Village, what our work, we are really, we're going past what you normally think of when you think of infant mortality and how to address it. I think people think of infant mortality and they automatically think about how can we make sure that mom's healthier during her pregnancy? How can we make sure that the doctors are serving her better? And although those things are very, very, very important, we also want to take a broader look at this because we know that there are some things that have happened in Black women's lives that have caused them to be at a disadvantage before they even become pregnant, before they take one step into the doctor's office. And so we're trying to change the culture and the reality for Black women. And we do those things by uplifting Black women's voices, making sure that Black women are heard. And what we have learned these last couple of years is that Black women are very stressed. Of course, these are things that we knew ourselves because we're Black women and we're stressed. We've learned that Black women are very isolated. And so a lot of the programming that we have initiated has to do with addressing Black women's stress. So hopefully when they actually become pregnant, they don't walk into their pregnancy already disadvantaged. And we have worked to create a community for Black women so they don't feel like it's only them that they have to rely on. Mm-hmm. And so we do things like have Queens Village meetings every month. Before the pandemic, we did it in person, but we have been continuing that effort online. And if any Black woman is listening to this call, listening to this live, please go to Queens Village Cincinnati. You can find out all the programming that we are doing. And there also are some things that Crystal has done such a great job of leading. So I want to pivot to her and give her an opportunity to talk about the wellness.
One second before we go to Crystal.
Okay,
so
sorry.
What I want to know is because I know you guys are doing a lot of work around infant mortality and with African-American pregnant moms. And so one of the reasons why I had you out because I've attended some of the Queen Village sessions. And so there also was a support system, not just for women who had younger children, but for women who had older children as well. So Crystal, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about that? Because the range that we deal with in Preschool Promise is kind of from that 3 to 5 range. And so we want to be able to offer them support systems as well. So Crystal, please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about that aspect of it.
So good evening. I am Crystal, community health worker with Queens Village and Cradle, Cincinnati. As Jocelyn said, I am mostly in contact with all of the moms and the women that comes to the village. I either check in or just lend an ear, whether I'm calling to see how can we better help them or support them to further build community, or just listening to help them relieve some stress at that moment. As far as the programming that we have done mindfulness, free yoga classes for moms. We have had a wellness journey, which is now continuing with two separate groups who have met over 6 weeks, and now they're continuing to meet over four more months just to continue the sisterhood. We also have Queens Village Kitchen Table, which allows women to come together to either advertise something they're selling if they're entrepreneurs, or it's just a moment to give some words of encouragement. We also have programming where there's a workforce development program that I believe we're almost to the end of it.
We are actually in the middle of our workforce development program.
In the middle of the workforce program, where there was 10 women who joined the workforce program, got training in the healthcare careers, and we partnered with Urban League for this, and they actually were guaranteed an interview with Children's Hospital. 6 out of the 10 women are actually employed now with Children's Hospital.
Awesome.
Cincinnati Children's Hospital.
Awesome. And so are these women parents from the Queen Village?
Some of them are parents from Queens Village, and some of them are women that actually just signed up when we had open registration.
Okay, that's awesome. And that's great to know, because we know that some of our parents through Preschool Promise are in need of opportunities like that as well. So that is fabulous to know that you guys are doing that work. I always like to hear about opportunities in which our parents will be able to, gravitate more towards. Have you all noticed a bigger need of support since we've been going in through the pandemic? Because I know people are saying yes, but it's one thing to say that people need support, but it's another thing to actually talk to people who do support. So have you noticed an increase for the need of support since we've been going through this particular pandemic time?
Especially missing that social contact, I would say yes. That's one of the main things that we hear is, oh, I miss you guys being able to meet in person. And even with the community health workers, we're not allowed to go do home visits anymore. So it's kind of tough to support your clients when you're so used to always being able to just go when they call and say they need you. But we're doing our best. Everyone is doing their best to stay in contact with their clients, support them the best way we can. The CHWs on Connections do have deliveries once a week. So this way they can go out. We can't interact as usual when we do home visits, but they can go out and still get supplies to parents that's in need.
Okay. And so just pivoting over a little bit, Kimberly, tell me a little bit about how a parent can get enrolled and involved with Cradle Cincinnati, because a lot of our moms through Preschool Promise, they have younger children, support, and sometimes when that particular situation with having younger children, or if they're pregnant, they kind of feel lost sometimes. And so I'm a big fan of Cradle Cincinnati. I'm sorry, I said Cradle Cincinnati. You know what I mean. But yeah, tell me how they can get involved in it.
Absolutely. So, there are 2 main ways in which clients can get enrolled and get connected to Cradle Cincinnati. One is coming through the United Way hotline, which would be through the 211 line. And they could then just say that they're interested in getting connected to baby resources and pregnancy resources. Most specifically, they can say that they want to be connected to Cradle Cincinnati. Another way in which to do that is I'm going to give one of our phone numbers that people can access more directly. It is 513-667-2157. And then we also have an email address, Cincinnati Cares. It's Cradle Cincinnati Cares at cchmc.org. And I'll put that down in the chat as well, that we can bring it back up at some other later point in time. But parents, as they become pregnant and recognize, thanks for popping that in the chat, Shara, they recognize that they're pregnant. And particularly for first-time moms or first-time parents, we have educational information available that we can literally text to parents about pregnancy development. We can also talk to them or send them information about, how do you build your village of people to be around you so that you have a circle of support. A reality check around how expensive babies are and what you may need to make sure that you have available in order to be able to have all the things that your baby is going to need when they come home. We also have access to resources such as Sweet Cheeks, which is a diaper service that comes through Healthy Moms and Babes. And so we have different organizations that we're connected to that we can get pregnant parents to. With Sweet Cheeks, a client would be able to access up to 50 free diapers a month. If that client is willing to then also, kind of do a health check. And so it's a way of being able to check in with a parent after they've had a baby, but maybe they've gotten past that 6-week checkup, but they're not necessarily engaging with medical professionals. But if they're seeing the women with Healthy Moms and Babes once a month, then somebody's checking on their blood pressure and they're checking in to see what their mood might be like and how the transition is going becoming a new parent. And we also are able to get parents connected to actual baby supplies. So perhaps a parent is working and having or bringing this new life into the family is going to be financially challenging. We might be able to get them connected to a voucher from Hamilton County Jobs and Family Services to cover some of those baby items like a crib and a car seat and maybe a high chair and a swing and some gas cards and then also some diapers and wipes. Because there are items that sometimes just aren't really covered by other sources. So if you happen to be a parent who is receiving SNAP benefits, so you have your food covered and you might have a voucher for your housing, so you've got that covered, but then things like clothing is something that's uncovered. And so sometimes we're encouraging and working with our moms to begin to really have conversations with the people who are part of their village, other moms that have already had babies. And perhaps you can then pass along gently used clothes versus recreating the wheel every time. Because the reality is babies are doing very little in those clothes and they get washed and can be reused. So, just trying to get our parents connected to as many community resources that are available to them to help ease some of the transition as they become new parents or become parents again and add to their growing families.
And so everything you said was made me think about when I was a mom and how we were trying to find stuff and necessarily couldn't find a connection. The hardest thing was if you had a girl baby at first and then you had a boy baby at second, then you couldn't pass the stuff on and everything and stuff. And I know, like, sometime for myself, when I was a younger mother, just trying to feel like I was doing my best, but at the same time, it just felt like my best wasn't good enough. And I know sometimes our preschool parents, they go through that as well. They want to do what's best for their children, but at the same time, everything is so hard. And so, what I want to know from you guys, what can we do? Or because I know we have some providers on the line, what can be done and what could be said or what should be said to help parents for as getting to that space where they feel like, hey, I'm doing the best I can and I'm making strides to do better, because that's a skill set. I mean, somebody say, oh, you're doing good, that's one thing, but we really want to motivate our parents during this particular time. And so want to hear from you, Jocelyn, what can we say to help keep our parents motivated? Because I know some of the providers, they sometimes say, we're trying to work with our parents and everything, but it's just really hard right now. And so we want to be just have words of inspiration so we can keep pushing them to do their best.
I think that when I was a younger mother, what I really needed to hear often is that it's okay that it's hard and that you can do hard things. I think that a lot of times we get this facade of parenthood, and when you get into parenthood, you're like, whoa, this is a lot. And
Mhm.
you feel like you're not doing it right. You see everybody on Facebook is doing it much better because of those pictures they've been posting.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so I think that by just giving them some confidence and letting them know that it's hard and that you're doing the best that you can. You'll continue to get better at this thing as you continue to do it, and that you can do it. And then also like reaching out, also that you don't have to do everything by yourself. I think a lot of times Black women, we feel like we have to be super women, and we just really don't. And honestly, we can't. That's why we get sick now. And so being able to reach out to folks and saying that you need help is very, very important. And it's going to keep you going, and then also keep your family going and keep your child going. So you need support and to take it.
And so, Crystal, I want to hear from you as well. What do you think? Give us some words of wisdom that how we can support our parents and how we can be encouraging to them.
So always lending a non-judgmental ear and letting them know that you're always there to support them, whether it is something for school or outside of school,
Mhm.
is a big thing. Because sometimes people have an everyday circle, but that everyday circle isn't always supportive of what that person may need or what they're going through at a certain time. And so I would say that's the biggest thing. Just let them know that you are there to support them. And then you can always refer them to Queens Village and Cradle Cincinnati because we are here as well. And so as I was saying, we have the wellness groups. We also are in the process of getting some sisterhoods together for different zones that we're in. So if you have moms in some of the zones, we can always connect them to different programming. So this way, even if they may not want to go out and be amongst people, they can just do it, home via Zoom and see how that goes and get introduced to the group. So yeah, I would just say knowing that they have support is a big thing.
And Kimberly, any words of wisdom from you for our providers and our agencies that may be on the phone or trying to learn how they can support their parents a little bit better through these trying times?
I think that the biggest thing is recognizing that there is help available for all of us, no matter what chapter we are in our lives. And it's just about being able to be open and willing to ask the question, and to know that there are resources available. I think for us, at Cradle Cincinnati, it's important for us to be able to share with people that we have a fatherhood initiative.
Tell us
To
about that. That's awesome because I
Right.
know we have fathers. Of course we have children. We have fathers, but at the same time, I always kind of feel like we do support systems for our mothers, and we kind of leave our fathers out, and our fathers need support as well. So tell us all about your father initiative.
So our fatherhood initiative is in a revamp. We recently added on a staff member who began with us early this week, if I remember
Maybe 3 years
correctly,
ago.
right? Maybe a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
So, but it has been a commitment from Cradle Cincinnati to honor that space and to be able to work with men who are really interested in understanding how they can be the best fathers that they can be. As of late, through Queens Village, there has been a Reading with Dad program that has been
Awesome.
on Facebook through the Queens Village page. I want to say one's coming up soon.
One actually just passed, and we're
Okay,
scheduling the next one.
thank you.
Hey guys, we're gonna have to do some combination work on that. We're gonna have to get the father reading circle over to the preschool promise page and everything because it's an awesome idea and it's just it makes my heart it warms my heart because like I said, I often feel like we leave our fathers out and we
Mhm.
have fathers that want to be involved. It's just a matter of getting them involved. Sometimes they want to be involved, but they don't necessarily want to come to the groups and everything. So
Mhm. Mhm.
Tell us about it, Kimberly. Tell us the secret.
So, I think the big piece is as you are working with moms to say, we'd really love to be able to share some information with the father of your baby. And is there a way in which we can get him connected? And it may be that you, as the worker, the community health worker, are sharing your phone number so that that father can make the decision to reach out to you, or asking mom, is there a way that I might be able to reach out to the father of your child? And then just connecting him in, because, new dads need support. Dads have been around for a while, still need support, particularly as the family grows, the dynamics change. And there's so much to learn around, just because baby A behaved this way does not mean baby B, C, or D is going to behave any way similar to. And so, helping people understand that with change, there's growth, and that there is information and support for all families to be successful.
And so just because we spoke a little bit about the dads, so I have a question with regards to, do you guys do any, in either party, Queens Village or Cradle Cincinnati, do you do any multi-gen support? Because that's a big thing right now. We have a lot of grandparents that are taking place of the parent. And I'm asking because, I want people to know, if grandma can get support from Queens Village or Cradle Cincinnati, let's talk about that. How does she go about doing that? Because they may feel like it's only for mothers and or only for new fathers and feel excluded. And I know we have a lot of grandmothers and grandfathers that come through Cincinnati Preschool Promise who have their children, because that is the world that we live in today. So how does that look? And do you guys offer that support? And if not, where can they go for support?
I know with Queens Village, we, although our target is Black women who are of child bearing age, or Black women who are mothers, we're open to all Black women. And so if a Black woman is she's a grandmother, she's welcome into our space as well, so that she can get some of that village support as well. But when it comes to specific programming that we have for Queens Village or for grandparents, we haven't delved into that yet. We start when we built a campaign for allies for Black women, and the first group that we are really targeting is Black men. And we just got our Black men coordinator into the spot 3 days ago, and so we're working to make sure that our fathers are ready to support Black men, and we will, down the line, we'll be focusing on other communities who can be supportive as well and be allies for Black women.
Yeah, that's awesome to know. Kimberly or Crystal, you have any insight on the grandma portion of it, or grandfather, the multi-gen, or even the aunts, or anything like that?
I would
I
say,
don't.
go ahead,
Oh,
Crystal.
no, I was just going to say, I don't have any resources, but I'm always open to looking for some whenever we do get that call, because as Jocelyn said, we do have some older women that come to Queens Village events, and I am in touch with them. And so just like, I'll say maybe last week, I talked to an older lady and she was looking for a place to get some clothing. So I connected her with a thrift store that's out in Fairmount, where they have free clothing for her to go to. So it's just a matter of what they need and how we can help them. So, but they are welcome. They are welcome to join us at any time, because a lot of times when the older women are there, sometimes they're giving the younger moms advice on what to do with baby.
And we're here for it.
Aggravated or teasing, or they may even give mom a moment to have her meal in peace, just holding the baby for that mom. Mm-hmm. And so it's just plenty of different roles that our women play when they come to the village.
And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just feel like you're actually giving me an idea, because a lot of you guys are on the car, actually in the kitchen table, and we have been thinking of ways that we can make that a more warm and inviting space. And we got some feedback that we needed to initiate some groups for like different sets of moms. So moms who are parents to teenagers, or mom who are parents to special needs kids. And I think that another group could be moms who are grandparents. So thank you for this. This has been already a fruitful conversation.
Yeah, I love Queens Village. I mean, I was involved in it even prior to really getting going with Preschool Promise. And so, as I told Kimberly, I had the honor of coming out doing some spoken word art for the parents and everything. But then as we moved to Facebook, I put my daughter in the group. And so my daughter, Jasmine Taylor, she's in the group. She's always putting her food because a lot of people don't realize that Jasmine is my daughter, and she's one of our Preschool Promise parents as well. So it's something to be a generation. So, not only, because I always tell her, like she was talking about eczema today, and we had an in-depth conversation in Queens Village yesterday about eczema and babies. Children. And I told her, I said, well, go in the Queens Village group and look up that thread because there were a lot of great different ideas about what we should do with eczema. Well, we know in our African American community, a lot of our children suffer from eczema.
Can I actually add, because I actually made the post because I was desperate, y'all. My son has eczema and it's looking terrible this year. And I made the post. I got over 80 comments within an hour. And I got people who are giving me ointment. I'm picking up ointment this weekend from somebody who answered on the post. And so this is the type of village that we're trying to create for our moms, and one that I'm thankfully able to participate in myself.
Right, that's the type of support our mothers need because that ointment can be very expensive. And it's something when you talk about grandparents, because sometimes I see myself as a grandma and sometimes I don't. And so to be moved, to one of the older women now giving the advice and everything. So I thought it was pretty cool how all the women generated together to say, okay, here's what you should do. Here's what happened with my child and everything. And so I think that that's important because right now we're so together, but we're so separate. Mm-hmm. And so I really want to talk about how do we bridge the gap in getting more of our parents' information about Queens Village, because that's one of the reasons why, for me, I wanted to have you guys on Preschool Chat, because I'm like, I know what a great resource it is. I know the support systems that they're providing other mothers, but what do we need to do so our parents can know more about Queens Village and more about support systems? Because what Crystal said, which I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. We're talking about support systems, but you said something about clothes. And so we know we just came through hard times. So I don't even want to list what supports do you all offer? Like we know parents can get Pampers if they have kids in the early space, if they need clothes for job interviews. So just tell us about the different supports and how we get our parents involved in more information about these support systems.
Mm-hmm. I would say one of the biggest things is getting people connected to us, because it is either through our team of community health workers, social workers, dietitian, nurse, as well as all the team members who are on Queens Village. I mean, we work so collaboratively to be able to serve the parents that we're working with. So like 2 days ago, Jocelyn was working with a client, trying to identify a way to be able to help her with rental insurance. We have a strong group me. She popped into the group me what her question was. And before she knew it, she had 3 or 4 possibilities and answers and resources to give to that one client that she was working with. And so literally we've got a very strong group of women and our newly added male who work together based off of what it is that we know, our experiences, the resources that we have available to us. We share them collaboratively. And so if it is one parent or one client that happens to know one of us, literally you've got probably a team of 15 behind you. And so, if it's something that I don't know, I ask the team, I've got a mom, she needs food. She doesn't have any transportation. What are our options? Mm-hmm. And the team comes together, brainstorms, and pops in some resources. And so then I'm able to go back to the mom that I'm working with to give her some information. And so I would say, again, one of the easiest ways is to get through us through the United Way, through the 211 line, and say that you're interested in getting connected to Cradle Cincinnati. They would direct you to, we usually have a resource, a referral coordinator. We're working in the process to fill that position, but one of our team members is answering that line. So the same 513-667-2157 number is an active number. Somebody is answering that phone. And text messages are received on that line as well.
Okay, now, do I have to be a part of Cradle Cincinnati to be a part of Queens Village?
No, you do not.
Okay.
And can I get more? I just wanted to give more information about Queens Village. And so if you are interested in Queens Village, what I would first want to let you guys know that the people who are working on Queens Village, me, Crystal, Meredith, Danielle, Dahlia, these are people, are Black women. We're a team of Black women that you can think of really as sisters, aunties, mamas and grandmamas, and we are all doing this work, and it's a labor of love. We wake up in the morning thinking about how we can help Black women, and we go to sleep thinking about the same thing. And so if you guys want to be involved in our work, all you have to do is be a Black woman and go to Queens Village Cincinnati on Facebook, or go to ask to join our private Facebook group, which is only for Black women, called QV's Kitchen Table. And you will find out all of the things that we are doing, and you will be enveloped into this group of supportive Black women. And it's really nice.
So with Queens Village, there's no, what if I don't have children and I want to be a part of
You're a Black woman, you're still in. You're in.
You're welcome in Queens Village.
Still join us, yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And so those, I was just wondering that because, like I said, I know we have a lot of parents who are in need of support, but at the same time, my providers, they're on the line. It may be something they may need support. Maybe they don't have children because, Women's Month is coming up next month. So if I would have thought about it, put it together, I actually would have had you guys on next month. But it's good because we're teeing up to Women's Month and everything and stuff. And so it's important to know where women can get different resources. Is there anything else like you guys want to tell us about that I maybe didn't cover?
Well, I would like to tell you about a couple of things that we have coming up that I'm really excited about.
Well, tell away. I'm excited because
I'm ready. So we are next month, we are going to be having a Queens Village meeting, and we have been so lucky to be able to pull in Annie Ruth. And Annie Ruth is going to be facilitating the group. I'm going to drop in the link for you guys to get signed up. And what she's going to be facilitating is a conversation across generations. So people who are in their 20s and 30s, we're going to be paired up with women who are older and be able to have those conversations you used to have in maybe church, but us millennials, we don't go to church. So I'm so excited to be able to have this conversation and learn more from women who have done this before. And then what we are also doing is in the Queens Village Kitchen Table is we are going to start facilitating these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday kind of wake up with Queens Village lives called Breakfast Nook. So on Monday, we're going to be praying together at 7:30, and Chanel, what's Chanel's last name, Crystal?
Price.
Stevens. So
Right.
Chanel Stevens is going to pray.
Yes.
Yes, Chanel Stevens is going to pray with us at 7:30. Cara Pearson, she's going to do mindfulness with us on Wednesday, and our own Kimberly McGinnis, she's going to be doing yoga with us on Friday. So this is another opportunity for us to kind of learn and grow and pray and meditate all together, just building on our community and our village.
And so before you continue telling us what's going on, I do have one question that popped up, and I just want to say it before it goes past and I forget. One of our viewers wanted to know, suppose we don't use social media, are we able to use a phone line to contact you and get information?
Yes, Crystal actually.
Yes. Sorry, I was gonna say yes. You can call me at 513-567-0558. And if I don't have the answer right away, I will find it and get right back to you the same day, trust me. But with
Yes.
all your questions or any concerns, we also have an email, which is reachaqueen@gmail.com. You can send your questions or your comments there, and we will also get
I
back
like
to
that.
you
Richard
as
Queen.
soon as possible.
Me when they say that Richard Queen.
It's
Okay.
Queen.
All right, man. Finish telling us what else you got going on.
Well, those are the two things. Do you have? I think we're doing a wellness journey that you can say more
A
about.
wellness journey this spring. It will come up. It will be for 6 weeks. They will meet either once or twice a week for the 6 weeks, and they will have a facilitator that will go through different exercises and also give them some tools to use during the workshop and to take home with them. Well, to keep home with them to go on after the workshop is done as well.
Okay.
And
So
what?
that will be also posted on our Facebook when we do have the flyer set and ready for that to go. Usually most events is always posted on Facebook. But like you said, if you're not on Facebook, you can always give us a call or shoot us an email.
And what the reason why we chose to do, we usually did our wellness journeys a little bit more spaced apart, but we've made an effort to do them more frequently because we've noticed that with moms and Black women are so stressed this year. And so we want to provide them more opportunities to kind of vent and to learn how to cope with stress in a positive way.
And so what I'm gonna ask, so say if I'm a mom or I'm just a Black woman and I'm just not ready yet to reach out and connect with Queens Village, but at the same time I'm watching preschool chat right now. Can you give us some de-stress techniques that a mom may be able to use to help her get into that kind of safe space or to help keep her balanced until she's able to get ready? And so, because sometimes some people are just, just like, hey, I don't want to deal with anybody yet. I got to work this out myself before I move on to that next level. But at the same time, I may be going through so much and maybe feeling like I'm getting ready to scream in my head. So tell me what you would tell me, or what kind of tips can you give me so I can kind of de-stress myself?
I've got a few that pop off the head real quick. I would say,
Miss Kimberly, with your yoga, I was thinking like, oh, Miss Kimberly about to help us get in our zine.
that's the goal. That is the goal. I would say, sometimes we need a space to be able to release information to. And so journaling is great. That could be any notebook, any piece of paper, and a pen or a pencil, a crayon, a marker. And just being able to write down some of those feelings and emotions so that we don't feel like we have to carry them all day. And particularly if there isn't a space to be able to scream that out without disturbing others, there's at least a space to be able to scribble it out. I would encourage people to consider breathing, breathing in deeply for a count of 4 and breathing out slowly for a count of 6 or 8. Breathe in deeply for a count of 4 and breathing out slowly for a count of 6 or 8. And so what you're doing is you're slowing down your overall nervous system to just be able to give the body an opportunity to have a break from some of the stress that's inside of it.
Oh, give us that again, Miss Kimberly.
So that is breathing in for a count of 4, slowly through your nose, and then breathing out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6 or 8. Breathing in slowly through your nose for a count of 4, and then breathing out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6 or 8. And sometimes you just repeat that until you feel calmer.
Okay.
Could be a series of 5 to 6 times. Might even take you all the way to maybe 10 times, depending on how stressful your situation is.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, that's good to know because sometimes you do just need that calm moment, and
Mhm.
can't really
Mhm.
figure out how to move into that space to say,
Mhm.
let me get myself there. Because sometimes you're
Yeah.
just frustrated with everything that's going on.
Yep. I would also say, if you can, get your kiddos into a regular bedtime. Having your kiddos on a schedule, meaning they are in the bed by 8:30, no later than 9, then gives you an opportunity to have some peace and quiet by yourself. And so
And I
maybe
just
you
said
can
too,
take a bath or you can take a shower.
yeah, I was going
And
to get yourself into a regular bedtime. I know
yes,
what I'm working on is putting my phone down at a certain time, because sometimes I find myself 11:30, 12 just scrolling through the phone, not looking at nothing, and it's like the next day I wake up exhausted.
yeah.
Where kind of like you need a start. I mean, kids need a start and stop time, but
Hmm.
our person to be better, we need a start and stop time as well.
Yes. And, so whereas we create a time for our children to begin to quiet down and wind down, so we're removing them from their TVs and their tablets, at least a half an hour before we'd like for them to be asleep. And we're working on maybe a bath and a story. So we're quieting their minds. On the flip of that, we too, as their parents, need to create that same kind of schedule for ourselves. Put your phone down, go take a shower, take a bath, read a book. Or if you don't want to read a book, you can listen to a book. I love listening to somebody tell me a story. And
Yeah,
before I know it, I'm asleep. There are free apps available in order for you to do that. Calm is an app that is available. Insight Timer is also a free app. In it, it has meditations for sleep, meditations for energy, meditations for calm, but it also has opportunities for people to read you a story.
yeah, yeah,
Come on, and then we all remember when we were kids and somebody read us a story. And then
yeah,
before you knew it, you was asleep.
yeah. That was awesome time back when we were younger and everything.
We
So
can recreate those.
great, really great suggestions. Now I do want to open it up just a little bit because we're about in our last 15 minutes. So if anybody has any questions while we're doing our discussion, please feel free to chat it in the chat box and make sure that we ask. Latanya is saying, I totally love reading the word and listening to scriptures while going to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so what we've started doing in our house, we listen to meditation music
Mhm.
while we go to sleep and everything. So we turn off TV and everything, just put the meditation music on so we can kind of get in the same headspace. So yeah, it's great, great conversation. So if anybody has any questions, feel free. If you want to know anything more about Queens Village, Cradle of Cincinnati, um, just I feel so rejuvenated that you guys are here, even because I worry about other Black women. I worry about what we're going through. I worry about our moms, especially now for me, because I'm not able to go to the center, the different centers. Family engagement is a big thing for me, going out, being able to talk to the parents to find out, even though preschool offer, funding for preschool, but at the same time, we care about our parents. And so we want to make sure that they are in a healthy space. And so be able to have you guys on here to give out different suggestions, to give out different resources that our parents can know more about. What I would even be interested in doing with you guys is maybe, and I have to talk to Shar about this. I know she was on the line. But doing like maybe a combination card where we could put like some information about Queens Village on there and send it out, and Cradle Cincinnati, send it out to our parents so they can have it as a resource to go back and look to and say, okay, here's how I can get in contact with this organization.
That would be great. We would totally and absolutely be open to that. I think the other thing is, perhaps we can also make some more targeted connections with the different service providers that you have, because we have information cards that we could leave with your service providers that they could give to their parents as they see, different things are happening with their parents, that they can get us connected together.
Yeah, because you only know what you know. And so, when the parents come and the providers, they like, look, we want to help because we know if this is going on with the parent, this is going on with the child. But at the same time, we don't know where to send the parent to. We don't know who the parent needs to connect to. And then just to be open and honest, a lot of time as an African American woman, what happens is when we go through these different issues, instead of sending us to somebody that we can relate to, they send us to somebody that we can't relate to. And then that kind of sometimes makes us standoffish, where we just don't want any help at all versus asking somebody for help. And that's a dangerous space to be in when you don't want any help, because sometimes we need the help.
Yes.
Sometimes I need to know the breathing techniques and everything and stuff. Sometimes I need help with the clothes and everything. And so, and we do have a question somebody asked, do you all ever talk to women who have experienced postpartum depression?
So, yes. So, one of the things I was thinking about was some of the mental health resources that we provide. We have 2 social workers on our staff that we can refer our clients to. And then we also are in partnership with a program called Moving Beyond Depression, that our clients can receive counseling directly through them at no cost to them.
And is that through Every Child Succeeds?
It's actually through our grant with Cradle Cincinnati.
Yeah, I know I've heard, and I do apologize. Every time I get on the phone, my pooch wants to start interacting with her food bowl.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They want to be close and make sounds.
Yeah. I'm like, I see them all day. Yeah. So I've heard talked about moving through depression. So definitely would love to get more parents involved with that, because I think the other thing that happens too, a lot of our parents are experiencing depression, but either they don't realize that they're experiencing depression, or they don't want to talk about their experience, because depression has been given a taboo name. And so when you start talking about depression, it's kind of like, I don't want anybody to know that I'm experiencing or feeling the way that I am, because I don't want them to blackball me. And so versus dealing with that, they just kind of keep it in. But it's hard being a mom.
Yes.
It's hard being a mom of an infant. It's hard being a mom of a toddler. It's hard being a mom of a preschooler. And so
and so on.
And so
on.
It's hard being a mom of an adult.
Yes.
I'm here to tell you, because it's really hard being a mom of an adult, because they don't listen to you. When they're a little kid, you can kind of tell them and they'll do what you tell them, like, do what I tell you to do. But when they get adults, you like, do what I tell you to do. And they're like, wait, I don't have to do what she told me. So yeah, somebody made a comment. Tanya said the free Calm app is great resource and I use it all the time.
Good.
So I'm gonna have to look into that. And so it's 6:52. And what I like to do, something I started yesterday before we get off this line, I'm gonna ask everybody for one feel-good takeaway from this meeting we have tonight, because I just think it's a great way to end the meeting. And so, Ms. Kim, we are going to, Crystal, you have one more comment?
I have a question for you. I was just gonna say, how can our parents get in touch with Preschool Promise if we have anyone interested in registering?
Well, what I would say, I believe Crystal and I know Jocelyn do know how to get in contact with me direct. I would say put them in contact with me direct.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, because sometimes parents need a little bit more help, and it has to be more than just filling out an application. I know I was out. I was out on vacation last week, but I did get your email, and I'm looking into some stuff for you. So
thank you.
Yeah, put me in. Just give them my information. Just tell them to pick up the phone and call Flo and stuff, because sometimes they need that.
I will do that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And so, give me my good takeaways, Crystal. I'm gonna start with you now.
Well, I'm going to be like Jossie and piggyback off of her that you all actually gave us some good ideas as to how to maybe expand our programming, especially with older women, keeping in mind that not everyone that's taking care of baby is mom or dad. And so we know that when we talk about safe sleep, it's like, oh yeah, you know, we have many caregivers that's caring for the baby throughout the day, but we haven't thought about it as far as having an event, especially centered for the grandparents or maybe for the grandma that is just the sole caregiver of the babies. So I would say thank you for opening our minds up a little more, and thank you for having us here. My takeaway is that you guys have an awesome program, and I love that you're willing to extend and find more resources to help your parents.
Yes, most definitely. And I tell you, one of the reasons why, one, because I'm a grandmother myself. I'm actually a grandmother of 7, which a lot of people don't know. But the other thing is because I have one of my favorite grandmothers / parents on the line, Miss Latanya Shannon. And so she's a grandmother, and I know she's trying to do all she can for her grandson. And so to make sure that she gets the support that she needs. Because sometimes we just, we need the village sometimes. We moved away from the concept of the village, but sometimes we need the village. Kimberly, what's your takeaway from the day?
My takeaway from today is that we are way stronger together than we are individually. And that if we can just manage to get connected to each other, we can get connected to so many more things than even I know by myself.
Yeah.
And so I am always open to learning new things and to connecting to new resources, because you never know when you need to share that information with somebody else.
Yeah,
it might not be yours for that moment. It might be yours to hold until you need to share it with somebody else.
In the big scheme of things, life is about the connections, whether people want to admit it or not. The connections, how we connect to one each other, how we passed on the connection from one each other. It's about the connections. So
about the connections.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think that I am taking away gratitude. These last 2 years that it has like literally been my job to love on Black women has been so special to me. And in creating this village for Black women, I have created a village for myself. And so I am just extending an invitation to all the Black women who are listening to this call right now and asking you guys to join us. So join Queens Village. We're here for you.
I would say my takeaway from this evening is just gratefulness. I'm just grateful to be able to be part of the connection, to bring Black women to this particular resource, but at the same time, to bring you guys to women who you may not have reached before. And so it is always an honor to be in the middle of whatever is going on, whether it's the pandemic, because I'm still here to tell the tale. And so I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful to you all for joining us tonight. We are upon our hour. Want to be mindful of everybody's time. Preschool Chat is grateful that you took time out to join us here this evening. Next month on Preschool Chat, I believe the date off the top of my head is March the 14th or maybe 15th. It'll be coming up soon. We will be talking about kindergarten readiness and transition. We'll be speaking with CPS on what parents need to do to get their children registered for kindergarten, but also what is it you need to know? What does your child need to know before entering into that kindergarten space? So please join us, Cincinnati Preschool Promise, next month as we talk with CPS about kindergarten transition, kindergarten readiness. Shouts out to Queens Village and Cradle Cincinnati. Thanks for joining us on Preschool Chat. Until next time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.